Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Lawler here, and it is about that time of the year. RLCS signups officially close in 1 week's time, and while yes, there are some teams that have yet to be announced, we do have a lot of teams that are pretty much deterministic about who we think is going to make the big run, who's going to make a push into the majors and a chance to go to the World Championship. I've got 23 teams that I've made on a tier list. This tier list has also been made public, so if you guys go to tierlist.com and you search RLCS 2026 tier list, you too can do that. Let me know what you've got down below. I'd love to see your guys' stuff. Feel free to tweet at me or check out any of the socials down in the description below as well. But this is what we've got. 23 teams, all kind of sporadic. We tried to take basically the top rosters and the top iterations from what we could see based upon public information, as well as what some of the pros have stated, how early scrims have gone, and we're going to try to do our best. The tiers are as follows. Your S tier is going to be your major winners. These are the teams that I think are most likely to go and win the entire thing. Now, this is way too soon. There's a lot of teams that we haven't gotten to see yet. There's a lot of teams that we do not know how they're going to perform. Not only does this, and it as a nice thing, kind of work as like a, hey, these are the official rosters going into 2026. I'll do a dedicated video for that in the future. But it gives you kind of an early iteration, things I'm thinking about on how they're going to play, stylistic tendencies, things of that nature, and how that will match up early. What I think will happen to start is definitely not how I assume how things are going to go going into the major itself. So we'll have to do an updated kind of power rankings as times go out. Speaking of power rankings, I do have community power rankings. I will pin that as the top comment on this video. I want you guys to go into that. Give me your top 10 from a drop down list. I will make sure it's updated and edited, and then I will bring those to public light when the time comes. So make sure you guys get those in as well. I'll have that all over Twitter. I'll have that on YouTube. I'll have that on all socials, my Discord. It'll be here on Twitch. If you guys want to be a part of the community power rankings, please get those submitted. So that being said, we're going to jump into this. Top tier winners, top 4, top 8, top 12, top 16. I am familiar and understand that the World Championship will have 20 teams, but we're not there yet. We'll start with what we've got. So that being said, I'm going to just start on how this got ordered by images. Some of these teams do not have names. Some of these teams haven't been officially announced underneath their organizations. We're doing what we can. So first, 2 Danes, 1 Brov. EJBY, Tempo, and Acro staying the exact same. Had some pretty good results in Coupe de France as the number 4 team. Honestly, outperformed a couple people, and I do think that they, as a team, are kind of your litmus test. To me, they're your barrier. This is your staple. This is your standard. This is your right in the middle of the pack. That being said, is we're also comparing people to a holistic approach. This is all teams, not just within their region. Immediately, 2 Danes, 1 Brov, to me, is a team that is top 6, potentially, in EU. I think they're right at the 5-6 range, similar to like Magnificos in the past and other teams that have kind of been right at that moment, where it's like you need that really big win in the upper finals or in that lower quarter. They're solid. They're the epitome of what is going to be a team that keeps people out of the top 8. I think they're solid. Whether that will continue to progress or if they will stay put, I don't know. But the benefits, just as a blanket statement for all teams, when you are staying the same coming into a season, you have better time to relax. You have a proper off season. You get to relax. You don't have to worry or stress about who's our new pickup. Are we trying people out? Like, you just go, hey, this is who we have. Great. I'll see you guys in a couple months. We'll come back. We'll do our thing. The other benefit is they have familiarity. There's synergy. They have spent season together. Like, they understand what and how they are going to function. Now it's on where are our faults? How can we progress? So that gives them a pretty big advantage, and that showed in Coupe de France. Up next, Angels. This is a team that has some potential, but I'm going to put them kind of in the same spot for now. Right now, NA is up in the air. We know our 1-2 in NA, but I don't know who 3, 4, 5, 6 are going to be. I do not have a clue. We have seen some results from off-season events, and Two-Piece Wavy and Talk seem to be in a bit of a flow, a little bit of a honeymoon phase, as we call it. Apparently, I cut my finger while lifting today, so that sucks. But they do have some potential. I think there is times where I think they're going to look great. I will put in a concern out of the gate. Scrims may be looking good, but I think on the day of competition, I do have some major concerns for this team Again, 2/3 former Shopify. Memory is sticking with them as a team. I talked about this on stream just a little bit ago. If I was Dignitas, because I still don't have a roster and I was to pick up a team, I would pick up this team. I think you have the ability to pick up a team. They're based in New Jersey for Dignitas. You can pick up a local squad, and it would work out pretty dang well. So that being said, I see some high lows, some high highs. It can go one or two ways. So I'm in between right now. I just need to see more. My gut says on match day, I hope they upset me. I hope they surprise. I hope they absolutely peak. I'm going to put them here for now, but oh man, it's going to get harder and harder. Up next, Apex, Sphinx, Kevin, and Catalysm, I think actually took a step back without Sosa. Nothing against Kevin. I just think Sphinx, while incredible, and Catalysm, I think, has performed pretty well for the team. You're bringing out an import and bringing in a local. That's proven to not go well for the region. I think it's a slight regression, but they are still the big favorites. I think Sphinx is a world talent. He's so good. His defense was impeccable at the World Championship. Very similar, in my opinion. Sphinx is like Banana Head in OCE. You're just a step ahead of your region. So Sphinx is really, really good. I would like to expect them, but they got to get a win first before I put them anywhere else. Falcons. Talking what is, in my opinion, a top 3 team in the world, and you're bringing in my opinion, a top 3 player in the world. That being said, while I'm going to make them one of my first major winners, I expect regression from this team to start. I think out of the gate, people, and in my opinion, do not realize how important TRK was to this roster. Communication, leadership capabilities, propelling them forward. While yes, Rawas and Clears are incredible, and yes, Clears has done a very good job of kind of stepping into that position and winning MVPs and doing really well. Drawley's good, but he has said himself, he doesn't speak Arabic like they do in Saudi. It's going to be a little bit different. They're probably going to communicate in English. It is going to be a little bit weird at start. That being said, there is too much talent and too much synergy. I think Drawley can play with anybody, and it's not going to be a problem. Do I think they're going to have the same polish as what they had? No. Do I think they're still a heavy favorite? Yes. I do think they are capable of going and winning something. It's a team with a ton of talent. If there's one thing I know about Rawas and Clears, they provide a very stable performance. They're in my opinion, the epitome of consistency. And I think that's going to stay the same. What Drawley adds to that team versus TRK, I do not know. We've got 3 opens to figure it out. I think they are capable of winning. I think they're fully capable of winning. You don't spend that kind of money on picking up him without that kind of expectation. Up next, Furia. Jan, Lost, and Brandon Swift and Bruto, new coach from Team Secret. Furia has kind of plateaued. I talked about this in a recent video. I think they haven't really moved anywhere. They've kind of just stayed stable. But when the going gets tough and when they have to perform the best at the World Championship, they did perform. That being said, I am excited to see what happens with a new coach, a new mentality, new player. I do think Swift is very good. I think Swift was a very big proponent in the success of Team Secret. I would like to think they're a top 8 capable. I do expect them to play into quarterfinals. Will they get past that? Depends on what their head-to-head matchup is. But I do expect Furia to be pretty heavily favorites again. Secret has played upset to that, but I'm looking forward to this. Up next, we've got Foot, not the old Foot of SSA, the new Foot of NA. Sosa coming from Virtus Pro in APAC, Frosty coming from Complexity, and Cheese coming from GenG. This team was not supposed to happen, but luckily for them, Cheese was able to be bought out from GenG due to Foot pockets. It sounds like these guys are being compensated pretty well too. That being said, I would be surprised if this team makes a major. I don't see it. I think they have potential. I think they could maybe make top 6 in NA. I think teams like GenG, the Angels rostered, a couple others we haven't talked about yet, should be outperforming them. I'm just not convinced. And I don't mean that as disrespect. Obviously, the players are talented. I think Sosa has improved so much in the last year. Frosty, we know, can be an absolute insane talent when he plays selfless, but from everybody I talk to, you either cut for him in 2s or he just forces you in bad situations. But yeah, I have a lot of faith in Cheese. I just don't know. I look at this team on paper and I go, what is it? I don't know what it's going to be. Like, is Cheese and Sosa playing offense and then Frosty's the back line? Like, I don't know. I really don't know how this team's going to come together. Again, prove me wrong, please. But I don't know. I really don't know. As for GenG, I put them right above. These two teams, I think, are kind of parallels to me between GenG. I would like to bet on GenG, a little bit more proven, both with talent and MIBR and Justin. I think Rise is a phenomenal addition for that team, and what he will provide. I expect this team to always be competitive. Sorry if these orders don't make sense, but yeah, we'll just leave them there for now. That'd be Sosa versus his former team, by the way, which would be crazy. But with GenG, my expectation is that they are going to be solid, but I need to see the peaks. If there's one player that I have seen historically make a team better, it is Rise. The dude is now completing his world tour. He has played in pretty much every region. If I'm Rise, my impact on this team is as second man. It's to alleviate the burden on offense from MIBR. It is to create opportunities and facilitate as second in rotation. I think he's going to be aggressive. I think he's going to be in their face. I think he's going to do a lot of really good things. Justin gets to pick his chances. He gets to sit back and kind of watch this develop as MIBR and Rise go crazy. I think this team's got a lot of potential. I'm kind of excited to see it. The issue is these teams have always fallen short on international competition. I get hopes. I get, oh, they're right direct, and then they fall short. You got to prove it to me. I've seen Rise do this. It's been a couple years, but I've seen Rise go from one team, make them better, go to another team, make them better, go to another team, make them better. I've seen him do it so many chances. Is that still going to be the narrative this time around? I don't know. We saw him take a brief stint in MENA. Now he's back to one of the major regions, if you want to even call NA a major region, outside of energy. Either way, being a little bit hypercritical, but I think GenG's got potential, but I need to see it before I more convincingly go. At the top of the top, ooh, GK. We haven't seen GK. GK is one of the one teams we haven't seen during the offseason. I have a lot of faith in Appjack. Joyo, I know, can still pop off and do his thing, and Seiko's no joke either. I'm going to put them in top 8. I think, even though we haven't seen GK, I do want to have faith in this team. I'm very interested to see on how this team develops. Jack, I think, is playing... Jack is playing really well. Yeah, I mean, guys, don't stress about the order. To me, the tier matters more than where the people are placed. But I think Jack is playing really good, selfless gameplay. I think Jack is doing a really good job of setting things up. I think people underestimate how good Seiko still is. And Joyo, when he's on land, when he's in the mindset of what he needs to be, is a different beast. I think Jack is going to do wonders for Joyo. Does anybody in chat remember who their coach is? I forget who their coach is for GK. Is it still Ixo? It's still Ixo? Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this team's going to look like. I wish they would have played in Coupe de France. I think they could have taken the spot over 2 Danes, 1 Brov, and we could have seen something like a proper top 4 for EU going into the season. It would have made my life way easier. I don't know what this team's going to look like. I'm going to put them middle of the pack because that makes sense. If I'm uncertain, I don't know if they're going to be great. I don't know if they're going to be bad. Right in the middle makes sense. I'm gonna stick with that. Corp and those guys still performing a lot closer than we expected. If I am a person in just like third person, kind of out of the bubble, let's talk about some objective things. New coach, extra coach to BDS. He's now going to Corp. Farah's taken a step back. It's got to be some pretty big changes. You're also bringing in Juicy. If Vitiran and Tao are sold on Juicy, and I do like Juicy, I got to see him on his Moist days firsthand, like very talented. It's going to take some time to get him into the system. Now, what I will say, Vitiran and Tao seem to be still playing their playstyle. It seems like the approach they have to the game has not really diverted. Juicy's just going into a flow with a new team. That being said, still top 2 at Coupe de France, still good results, still competitive. And while everybody has the expectation that K-Corp is the greatest or nothing, I think they're still pretty competitive. Faltering, though. Still faltering. Still having some issues. Excited to see on where they end up. as we progress through. I think Open 1 and the kickoff tournament will be a very interesting one because a lot of those French teams do have at least one LAN under their belt already with the off-season event. So Corp I still think is competitive. I think it's just going to take a little bit more time for Juicy to get into the flow of things. I think they saw a lot of flaws in their gameplay, but if I know Corp, they've always been very good about making those adjustments and coming back more competitive. So Corp's still a top 4 to me. Mates, on the other hand, I mean, Mates look good. Like, Mates look good. I know it's crazy, but it makes sense. Nas and Oski, as you guys know, when NIP was announced last year, they were my favorites. And God, if they do it to me again, I'm gonna be so pissed. But Nas and Oski, I felt coming in to last year with NIP was going to be a very solid team. I thought they were going to be that team. And then they kept falling short. They kept, faltering under pressure. They kept falling, and it was so frustrating. And then we got to LAN finally. They won LCQs, and we saw, hey, look at how they're performing. They're playing upset. They're doing their thing. And I'm like, yes, these guys on LAN, we knew they were fully capable of this. You're now taking 2/3 of that roster. You're pairing it with Archie, who we know has been a defensive mastermind, can really play aggressive and do his thing. Yeah, it's a little bit of boom ball and heavy touch, but it alleviates the burden of playing defense a little bit and allows them to apply a ton of pressure. On top of that, Snasky has coached all of these players. Snasky used to be on Oxygen with Archie. So it makes sense that immediately out of the gate in Coupe de France, that this team is synergistic. This team is confident. This team is playing exactly how they should. It makes sense. It makes sense. Like, there is familiarity across the board between coach, between former teammates, it makes sense. Because Archie and Oski are not unfamiliar with each other either. So, out of the gate, I'm not surprised. I think that's going to put a pretty big target on their back based on how they're performing. But the one thing I noticed, they are so goddamn aggressive. Like, most of the time, there's certain play styles where you have and you rotate wide, you make sure you shut things down, you sustain all. They just send it all the time. They are constant challenge in your face, go, go, go. And even when we've seen teams like Corp try to suffocate them with like boost consumptions and boost denies, doesn't matter. So Mates look good, man. Mates look really good right now. We've also seen what they can do at EWC. We've seen what Archie and squad with the old GK roster is capable of. And I think adding Archie with these two players is a very exciting thing. Next up for MIBR, I'm going to probably put MIBR towards the bottom. Unfortunately for them and for Razebull, while I think there's a lot of talent on this team, I just don't know if they're going to be able to get past what is Secret and Furia at the current moment. I think they're capable. I think the options are there. But they've fallen short. I think Razebull has improved the roster quite a bit. Obviously, Chromax, I think, is the other one with Bems and those guys. But I do think Sad and Astromic should add a little bit of firepower for Razebull. They've got to beat Team Secrets to me, though. Team Secrets in their way, and it's going to be a tough one. So, as of right now, it's tough for me to put them any further because I do know this team should be able to make majors, and this team is top 6. So, if they have a good performance, if they do well at kickoff LAN and stuff, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, unfortunately, when you're not even able to attend, I would like to believe that Chisos and Frosty can beat Razebull, Sad, and Astromic, but I think that series actually would be relatively close. Up next, Ninjas in Pajamas. NIP. Oli, Yoris, and CRR. CRR obviously had a pretty rough result last year with Complexity. Had one major, and then roster changes, and then they couldn't do it. Yoris, obviously, on the Dignitas squad, was probably the best that he's had in a season. And then Oli, obviously, the saving grace and kind of the pivotal player for what was GK. If he was on, the team looked good. Now, Oli and Yoris have been two players that have been rumored to play together for a long time. They've always kind of introduced themselves in the offseason and then fallen apart. They've gone their separate ways. This time, they're actually sticking through. I've seen Oli and Yoris stick together. We got to coach them temporarily with Nas on Super Oli during the Paris Games Week last year. And This team, to me, I don't know. I don't know what CRR's impact is going to be. Yoris likes to play defensive third and kind of bail the team out. Oli, obviously offensive in your face. CRR, kind of going to have to be all over the place. Very talented team. I think 2 Danes, 1 Brov, and NIP are going to be probably fighting. I would like to give the nods to the major performers and stuff. I think tempo should be sought after, like heavily sought after. I mean, shoot, if I'm only in Yoris, I get rid of CRR and I bring in tempo personally. But I would like to believe in that roster and their potential just because of been there, done that type mentality. But that's a tough one. I just don't know what I'm going to get. I have a little bit of concerns of pressure for this team. I hope they play upset. I hope they surprise me. I want this team to be really good. I just don't know what it's going to look like. CRR is a question mark to me for that roster. I don't know how I feel about it. And like, Oli's got to play more consistent than ever. Next. It's your world champs. This should be your favorite team. Like, at the end of the day, NRG is the world champs. They are the best team in the world. Similar regards to what I have. Same team, same roster, no changes, familiarity. There's a lot of benefits to NRG right now. I think they are the favorites to win right now going into Open 1. As long as complacency isn't there, as long as the guys are locked in, as long as they're grinding. Like, I saw Beast Mode playing rank 2s out like 11 p.m. last night. As long as the guys are putting in their hours and they're grinding and they're playing, I think they'll be okay. You just can't get complacent. The first event is such a big advantage for teams. It guarantees you a spot at the major. It guarantees an additional spot for your region. It's a big deal. I think NRG expectations at this point, everybody's known they're the best, right? Everybody is known for how long. Like, NRG to me has a really exciting story based upon we're bringing in these teams obviously from import situations. We're trying to innovate and upgrade the rosters of all these teams around us, but we know we're the 3 best players in North America. You cannot improve upon this team. And despite all those expectations, despite all those, you know, the general narratives that have come from everyone, you fell short. You run it back and you do it. And not only do you do it and win the world championship, you do it on France soil in front of that crowd, which to me is just Rocket League gods laughing. Like, it's scripting 101. So I don't think you can put additional pressure on this team. I don't, like, sure, everybody's like, hey, run it back. And everybody's like, dude, it's so difficult to win a world championship, let alone 2 in a row. I don't think mentally they're going to be worried about that stuff. I think this team is just their own enemy. If they stay consistent, if they stay like focused, they keep grinding, they keep putting their hours, they don't get complete. Like, Energy should be one of your favorites. So I think outside of Energy, it is a big drop off. I just think there is Energy and then there's the rest of NA, and it's a big difference. And you're probably going to see that at my tier list here. So, OCE, we got Fibergus and Super Lucky. I actually think this team's really good. I think this team's got a lot of potential. They did play upset to Wildcard in the 3v3 Cash Cups as well. I do think they've got some potential. I actually really like this team. I would actually put them somewhere in this area. I could see this team potentially beating a Cheese Sosa Frosty, but I think this team could be upset. Obviously, Wildcard has a couple teams in their region between Power and everything else, with Wildcard being the favorite. This team could play upset. I could see this team being the one to play upset and go to majors instead. This could be a really fun team to keep your eye on. We've seen them, I said, only in the Cash Cup. We've seen them beat Wildcard early. Wildcard closes out eventually. So, something to keep your tabs on. Again, a lot of the top 16 teams are kind of in the leftover stuff. Shopify Rebellion. We've got FK and LJ sticking together, and they're bringing in Kofer from SSG. I think this team is no different than Ultimates last year. This is a team that has really high potential and could also falter really hard. The difference, though, is Kofer is a demon. do demos like nobody's business. That should, in theory, open up opportunities for FK. LJ should be able to do what he does best and clutch up. Now, on the team last year, LJ was expected to do all the things LJ did when he was on Space Station. But when you no longer have to be the person to do it all, it alleviates some of that burden. They're going to be a top 4. They are, from all accounts, from everybody I've talked to, every single player, every person who's been in scrims, they're like, yeah, Energy's 1, SR's 2. My concern is they have not been able to do it before. This one in particular, an FK, has not been able to do it before. And until he proves me wrong, I'm still not going to believe it. Never once has he been able to lift the trophy. And I'm going to keep it that way. I do not believe it. I will not believe it until I see me proven wrong. But I have not seen the play style come through. Now, we all know he's very good, sticking together. The difference here is Violent Panda as your coach. Sad Jr. has been attached at the hip his entire career to LJ. That is no longer the case. New coach, new mentality, 3 new players, all different styles. I'm pretty sure FK very much so heavily requested to work with Panda. So a lot of respect there. Curious to see how it plays out. You're talking, you got a 2-time world champ as a person who's been there, done that, been coaching a long time. That experience should hopefully relax the guys and allow them to ease into things. You shouldn't see the emotional changes. Shopify could be really good this year. And I'm very happy for Shopify in general. I think they're a great organization. They decided to double down and go all in. So, should be good. Up next, SSA. We've got Sweaty to Die For and rumored to be Lewis P. This is probably going to be KCP. That is what the rumors are all alluding to. This is your number 1 seed. The second team in SSA is Snowy, Guns, and Tecos. This team, in my opinion, has 2/3 of the best 3 players in the region. If I had to rank it, it's Sweaty to Die For and Guns. And then Snowy probably at 4. But you're taking 2 of the best players in SSA and you're pairing it with an import. Lewis is pretty dang good too. So what does that mean on international? I think this team got worse. This team got better. I would put them somewhere in this area. I don't know how to order these all in particular, but this team in particular, I think, has the chance for SSA for the first time to actually get a win at a major. Is it going to be in round robin? In the O2 round? Maybe. But I do think they'll be competitive. How far will they go? We don't know. You just haven't seen them. They were playing in the... It would have been nice if they would have played in the Cash Cup, but I think To Die For was playing in FIFA eQuals, so they didn't. But they were in the Cash Cup, and then they forfeited out because player inconveniences. So, I don't know. I think Lewis and those guys should be able to do pretty well. From things I have heard, they are doing very well in scrims. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. 3 weeks from now. So it's a ways away. Up next, SSG. Reveal, Diaz, and Chronic. Reveal to me is one of the best players in NA. I think his innate understanding of the game, his game sense, his game IQ, whatever you want to call it, are incredible. I think he is a world level talent. To me, he is on the list of like the Rise, Mark by 8, Percy, Tau, like just people that just have a really firm understanding of how to rotate and play the game. New generation of it paired with Diaz. Diaz is a question mark. We know he's incredible at ones. We know he is super talented. And will that translate to threes? I think him getting out of the situation and complexity is very good for him. I think he's being paired with a veteran coach in Xperi who has a lot of familiarity with working with young talent. So that should help. And then you've got Chronic, who many don't realize is a very good vocal leader. Takes a captain role, very, very, very communicative, and pushes the team forward. What does that mean, though, for competition? We'll have to wait and see. As of right now, I'm going to probably put them top 8. I'm going to put them mid-tier. To me, they should be a top 4. Whether they're going to be 3 seed or 4 seed, we'll have to wait and see. We did see SSG with Snowmen last year slowly make progression where they got a top 4, a top 2, and then they took a first place at the tail end. This team may take a little bit of time to build and grow. But the hardest thing, and something that I have become privy to as I've started coaching, a team can be great in scrims, a team can do really well in practice, a team can be super well prepared, but nothing can prepare you for competition. And like, I knew that, but not to the degree where it's like some players just, they need that band-aid ripped off and getting into competition and be exposed to it before they can start to progress. And I don't know what this team's going to look like until that time hits. So I don't know if anybody in chat knows how 3v3 Cash Cup stuff has gone. I don't know if anybody's seen them compete in anything off season. I haven't seen scrim results. My assumption is they'd be a top 4 in NA. Once we get to international competition, we'll see. Toss up between these two. I would assume that 2/3 of this roster staying the same would outperform because of familiarity over a brand new team. Even though talent-wise, I do like the SSG roster. We'll see. The boys, Evo, Aqua, and 5UP. We are absolutely peaking and taking a top 6, or we are hoping to make top 12. Because of that, I do not have them as a top team going to majors. While I do think they could play upset, I'd probably put them somewhere in this area. I think 5UP's a good addition. They were with Hoxer, I think I remember last. But now that Hoxer is no longer, 5UP to me is one of the best second men in Rocket League. I got to coach him. I think his read for the game is great. He's very good at following up and making sure that the play progresses. We know Evo has pop-off potential, and so does Aqua. So if 5UP can provide them a little bit of stability, like Hoxer did, but with a little bit more quickness and aggression, this could be a very threatening team. Excited to see how they play. Do I think they're making majors? Probably not. I think it's going to be really tough for them. To me, they're like a less structured 2 Danes, 1 Brov, if that makes sense. That's kind of how I view it. Twisted Minds now. TRK, Nobu, and Monkey Moon. I think TRK and Nobu are going to be insane together. I think those two are going to become absolute psychos. The biggest concern I have on this team is actually Monkey Moon. One of the greatest of all time. Monkey Moon has a stylistic tendency to cheat on his teammate very, very close. He is within a close proximity. His stats and stuff always show if my player's on the ball, I'm right next to it so I can get to it immediately after. I also, when I'm confident my team can play a preemptive and I am always in the right place at the right time to dunk you, it feels like I can tell the future. Is a new environment where he is the odd one out going to be helpful for him? I don't know. I don't know if emotions and stuff are going to play a role. I don't know if he's going to get frustrations and the team's going to fall. I have no idea what this team is going to look like. Because of that, I can't confidently say they can win a major, even though the talent is clearly there. There's too many unknowns for this team. That being said, this team has so much talent. This team could be so scary. I believe TRK and Nobu together are going to be nuts. I think this is actually better for TRK to be playing with Nobu. As much as you want to play with the twins. But I think TRK and Nobu together is going to be scary. It's going to be super threatening. I just don't know if Monkey Moon was the right choice. It could have been just, hey, Monkey Moon we know is good. He's been there, done that. He's got a ton of experience. Good addition. Twisted Minds to me is an anomaly. I genuinely have no clue what this team is going to look like. I would like to think that they just on talent alone have the potentials, but I could see them falling out of a tournament early. I could see them in this area too. See how it goes. Team Secret. Best season you've had in a long time, and then they steal one of your best players. Unfortunate. Bringing in Jerfinho. Jerfinho's good, but I do think compared to Lost, Swift, and Yan, it makes sense that he was the odd one out. Team Secret, I would like to hope, continues to perform as a top 12, somewhere in this area. I think they're okay. I think they're competitive. I could see them getting a win over some of like the Apex, the SSAs, and stuff like that. But anything past that, I think it's going to be a tough fight. I think they can go close against teams like SSG and Furia and stuff, but historically, they'll probably lose to that. Up next, in Vitality. Vitality, I think, is in the same boat, somewhere in this area. I don't know how to order these in particular. Vitality did play a close series against KC, but KC did end up beating them on Coupe de France on LAN. Results-wise, they were the 3rd out of the top 6. It's going to take some time. Zen and Stizzy have some really good synergy. Stizzy and Exotic together feels a little bit awkward still. The cool thing to see from Stizzy has gotten very, very comfortable with ground plays. Seems to be doing a lot of dribbling and stuff. I want to see Stizzy and Exotic work their synergy. Right now, it just feels like, hey, Zen and Stizzy play a lot of duos together. Zen and Exotic play a lot of duos. Exotic and Stizzy don't have that synergy quite yet. Interested to see how it develops. I think they're still plenty talented. If anything, I'd probably put them top 8 for the current moment. But I do know they're capable of this. Vitality to me is back and forth. Now everybody watches my videos and goes, wow, Lawler, all you do is glaze Vitality. You were so keen on them, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, objectively, if they just stopped making the same egregious errors, which I assumed they would have fixed, yeah, they were capable of making top 4s, top 5s. And we all saw historically what happened when they played against Energy. So take that. But I'm going to lean on the side of caution this time. I think Vitality I'm a little bit skeptical of. I feel most teams actually took a step back this year. I think the talent got spread a little bit more, and while everybody is kind of leveled, I don't think the peaks of what they were last year, where it's like, yo, K-Corp we see as just S tier and everybody else below. Energy, S tier and everybody below. I do think the teams that were potentially ranked like 5 to 10 have all improved a little bit, and the top team has come down a little bit. So it's kind of compressed. Hopefully that makes sense. Up next, Wildcard. I don't know, man. I'm not going to take this offseason result too heavily into account just because it is the offseason. You're relaxing a little bit. You're taking a little bit of time off before the next season hits. Wildcard, I would like to believe, is still a top 8 potential. Let's put them right in the middle. They are the epitome of the middle of top 8. Can they make top 8? You best believe it. Can they also falter and fall short? You better believe it. To me, Wildcard's future and their fate is on them. I think Wildcard is a team that, as long as mentally they play well, as long as they are grinding, they're in the right headspace, they believe that they can be better than these teams, they can play with that confidence, they're not afraid to challenge, they can do it. I think 3-0-3-0 on Worlds is not a mistake. We all knew that Wildcard was fully capable of making consistent top 8s. They were so close all of, not last year, but the year before in 23. And then just something happened, and it felt like a switch was just like, man, we keep doing the same song and dance, and it's not far enough. This is also the first time in a long time that OCE's number 1 seed has stayed the same. Usually OCE puts a bunch of names in a hat and pulls them all out with the top like 12 players and goes, okay, these are the new teams. Which one of you gets Torsos and gets to go to the major? I can also say that B-Head was potentially thinking about coming to North America. That did not happen. I'm happy for that. I want local talent strengthening their region, trying to improve. And I think the Gus Hunter team should be a fun one to watch with that happen. I still don't know what's happening with the former TSM with Amphis and those guys and Kaka and stuff. We'll have to wait and see, but I would like to hope that Wildcard can make a push. I would like to see another top 8. It doesn't have to be top 6, guys. I would like to see them consistently top 8 and prove, hey, you took away our regional spot, but we are still capable of giving them an additional spot in LCQs so they can go and make a run. That's what they're fighting for. They're fighting for their region. Last but not least, former LAN players. We've got Eugen, former of Mates, Redosin, former of Ninjas in Pajamas, and then Matzer, who is a really talented French player. I think he played for BDS with Nico and Juke. They did not look great, being honest. They did not look great in Coupe de France. They got out qualified by 2 Danes, 1 Brov. A lot of talent. But yeah, somewhere in here. You can put them wherever you want. But the talent is there. They're good. It's just, they looked like solo queues, man. They looked like a solo queue team. They did not look like they were synergistic with the structure, plan, and style in mind. It's just, hey, we're just playing to play. Maybe that'll change. But as of right now, yeah, I think they're going to be kind of somewhere behind in like a top 8, maybe top 10 area for EU at the current moment. So that is what I have for my tier list. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough. A lot of question marks around these teams on who's going to be the ones that are fighting, but some pretty interesting teams out of the gate. Hopefully this video in particular gave you an opportunity to see some of the new rosters, some early thoughts and opinions on it, but just letting you guys know, I don't know how these teams are going to play. I'm very much so excited to watch the first event for the year. I think the first time we get to see these guys in competition over the course of 2 weeks, both with qualifiers, because everybody's got to go through double elim, and then top 32 down to 16. Should be a lot of fun. Some early favorites, hopefully some not too soon predictions that are just completely off. But as a reminder, if you guys have made it this far, as always, like, subscribe, notifications, check out the socials and stuff down below. Turn on notifications with subs. Also, in the description and pinned in the top comment, community power rankings. I will put out a Google form. Click the drop down in order from 1 to 10. Let me know who you think are going to be the best teams. We will review that for a future video if you want to make sure you're involved in that. Keep your eyes peeled. I will post it on Discord. I will make sure I have it probably as a pinned command in chat for you all. And I'll have it on Twitter for everybody as well. Either way, long video today. I'm going to completely leave this unedited. I'm not going to make any changes just because it's a lot of kind of open conversation. So if you guys have made it through this whole thing, greatly appreciate it. That's going to do it for today's video. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.